Well, this is awkward. Yesterday I made a video saying, well, it's the end of the year, not going to do anything else now except watch my non-evergreen things die. This morning it was really nice and sunny, although you really wouldn't know it now. It's cloudy and raining a little bit, but I went for a big walk while it was sunny and happened to be passing the garden centre. So obviously I went in, and it turned out they had exactly what I was hoping to get, which is Vinca minor alba. To go with these Vinca minor, azure, pleno, whatever they are, or in plain English, blue periwinkles and white periwinkles. So as you can see, this one is even still flowering, which is pretty epic for October the 6th. So yeah, 3 of them to go with the 3 blue ones. So one in this corner to spill here with white flowers, maybe even over this side as well. And then one down this end. So we've got the blue flowered leadwort, blue periwinkle put in a week or 2 ago, and then there's basically a gap of nothing here, so I'll put a white one sort of there, and then this stuff which will hopefully eventually cascade as well. So I'm leaving space here, then more leadwort, then another new blue periwinkle, then a silver snow which is supposed to be coming over here as well. Not silver snow, snow in summer. And then here's the original periwinkle. So really the only place for the 3rd white one is there, which was my plan all along, because I figured this would die over winter probably, or if it didn't I could finally get rid of it. But now it looks like I have to actually get rid of it today in order to put that in, unless I just try and sort of squeeze it next to it. So I feel a bit mean taking this out. Look, it's still flowering and everything, and one of the very few things that is giving me any colour. So it seems a bit churlish to reward it by taking it out and chucking it on the compost heap, but it doesn't really fit my plans. So I was going to have to do that sooner or later if it didn't die of its own accord. So I've planted this one in the corner. There was one of these stones there for the longest time, which I cunningly left there so that this bugle didn't spread in that direction, to leave a space where I could plant that. Now that I have planted that, I'm hoping this will actually spread around here, because I don't actually really want all of these periwinkles to actually take up bed space per se. I just want them to, like this one's doing, all of its activity, its leaves are over here. It doesn't even bother with leaves up there because it's getting all overhung by the lavender. So I want these to be out here and then something else to kind of grow over them. And then down the far end, this was the blue one I put in a couple of weeks ago. So I've got probably just about enough space under all this crap to put one more cascadey thing yet to be identified. And then I've planted the second of the today's white ones here. With a little gap before this mystery identified stuff. See if I can focus on it. There you go. Still keen to know what that is. And then I did consider if I could squeeze the 3rd one in between that and this leadwort, but I just realised that this pathetic squib of a plant that looks exactly the same as the day I planted it hasn't really grown at all, sadly. But that is, believe it or not, one of the forget-me-nots I bought. So I can't go digging that up without. So unfortunately that does mean this pink thing basically until I bite the bullet and get rid of that. This is going to have to stay in the pot because I can't even really think of anywhere else in the garden I could change my mind and put this, because there's nowhere else for it to trail over, and if I don't give it something to trail over, it'll mat sideways and choke out its neighbours instead, I think. So also at the garden centre they had more of these, the exact same, whatchamacallit, cultivar, and I wanted another one of those to put over in the other corner, which is currently just dandelion. But I refrained today from actually buying one, because they looked really a bit shabby. End of season, they looked like they should have been in the discount zone, and they weren't in the discount zone, so I turned my nose up a bit. But now I'm thinking I might as well have just got one, because anything's going to look a bit shabby over winter anyway, and hopefully bullets act together as the seasons progress. So maybe I'll go back tomorrow and get that. So I did indeed go and buy another one of these bugles on what was tomorrow but is now yesterday. And here it is. So you can see what I mean about the state of it looking a bit ropey compared to my existing one. All these yellowy dying leaves with holes in. So yeah, turn my nose up a bit at paying for that. I mean, that one was only in a small little pot, so it was cheap as you like, and it spread that quickly. Whereas this one's a bigger pot, so it costs more and it looks worse. But the garden centre can't really be blamed for COVID, which is probably related. It's probably sat on a shelf somewhere much longer than it would have done. So I thought I'd get it anyway. And hopefully that will sort itself out in time. Still haven't planted this white periwinkle. I did say the other day I'm going to have to put it where the pink thing is, because I've got literally nowhere else to put it, and then I realised I do have a wall up here, this wall, so I could make it cascade over that, but the thing is I like sitting on that wall with my tea, so if it's all covered in plant then I'll be squishing the plant when I sat on it. So I think I will just put it over here. So here we are, finally bitten the bullet, yanked the pink thing out from that hole, got it over here, dug a bit of a hole to put it in. Looks like the hole I've dug is a bit too small though. There we go, part one complete. Whether or not that will survive, I have no idea, but I literally got this thing from a supermarket for like £5 for 12 of them or something, and they were meant to be just summer bedding plants that would only last for a few months, and we're now something like 18 months later. There's still that one, which I moved about a month ago maybe to make way for something else. It didn't seem to die immediately after being moved. And there's some more over here as well. So they're tough little buggers. But anyway, that's now there, so I've now got a hole in which I can plant this guy. And there we have it. Third and final white periwinkle added next to the snow in summer. Just need to persuade it to come out forwards, and then we should be set. There's this one going straight on into this one, into this and so on. So next up, brown bugle. Well, here's a question. What the hell are these things? Globules of slime. Some sort of lava or something, I suppose. I'll have to ask the internet. Big worm. I've disturbed a big worm. Flee, worm. Flee from the carnage of the digging. Well, anyway, speaking of digging, you get an inch down and there's another brick there. So I can't plant right here in this corner. That's annoying. Funny thing about digging holes is that sometimes you don't seem to have enough soil left to fill in the gap around the thing that you planted, and other times you seem to have like 3 times more soil than you need. So this now feels like it's got a big hill, but I guess I'll give it a big water and it will all sink and settle down. It's kind of cool to have this flowering, even if it's in a bit of a bad state with the leaves. At least it provides the flowers, but that's very odd really, because it's supposed to be a spring flowering thing and it's October. So goodness knows why it is flowering. Anyway, I decided to put it right in that corner as much as I could, given that extra brick. So I haven't actually removed the dandelion, but I might rip that out anyway, or just chop the leaves off, don't know. And then there's still this blue little lobelia, which is another one in the supermarket batch of cheap plants with the pink ones, but this one's blue and it kind of trails and cascades a bit over towards the edge, so I'm hoping that one actually survives, even though it's no more supposed to survive for winter than the pink ones were. Anyway, there we go, planted a new second bugle. It's very odd how different colour they are. I mean, even disregarding the discoloured leaves here, then these ones are more sort of olivey and these ones are more sort of burgundy. It's supposed to be the same cultivar, but every plant's different. It'll be interesting if they grow and meet sort of in the middle. Oh, there we go. Job done. And just a quick shout out as to why I have bought a second one of these. Number one, the leaves look really cool. Really nice texture, really nice colours. Number two, it's evergreen, so it'll stay looking cool all winter when everything else looks terrible. Number three, it makes a very dense mat, which is the best way to stop weeds. So if you look over here, for example, got some dandelion, got some this stuff I think Mum said was a sweet violet, but it's everywhere. Got some of this, I call it cress, I don't know why, it doesn't even look that much like cress. I don't know what it is, but there's loads of it in this bed. Then there's some herb robert and roseberry willow herb. So yeah, it's just constant amount of weeds here, and I'm not the kind of guy that likes weeding. Whereas over here, where I've planted this, look, there's one of these little willow herbs here. There's one of these little sweet violets here. But do you see any growing through here? You do not. Weed killer supreme. And then number 4, 5, lost count. When it flowers, bees and pollinators are apparently big into this stuff. And I did post my appreciation of this plant before on the internet, and somebody said, careful, careful, that's invasive species, which if you're in North America is the case, but I'm not. It's it's native here, and it's actually even in biodiversity action plans as a species to promote. So good for the local wildlife. And obviously those points were not in any particular order, because if anything they should be in backwards order, because wildlife is more important than me thinking the leaves look nice. But I just said them in the order they came to mind. So here we go. Now that is surely the last planting I'll do this year, but hopefully it will pay dividends in spring and I have a nice mountain of pollinator friendly bugle and a complete curtain of periwinkle flowers like this, cascading all the way down my wall. So see you next spring, eh?